Somebody's gonna get their ass kicked. Somebody's gonna get their wig split. Somebody's gonna get their ass kicked. Somebody's gonna get the wig split.
Oh.
Beat him up, break his neck, beat him up, break his neck, beat him up, break his neck, beat him up.
Hey, fair play. That you went in on that shit.
Alright, cool.
Fucking hell.
I'm just gonna go straight into podcast now, yeah? You cool?
Alright, yeah, man.
Cool. Alright. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast. It's Sunday, it's episode 13. I am the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, the one man, no Twitter fan, Kitty Killer. And you know, to my left, I always have my man, the goddamn Sugar Shugs.
Yo.
Don't forget my guy to the right, the human highlight reel himself, Mr. E2J.
Oh, hey, yo. What's good, guys?
What's good? How's everyone's weekend, Shugs?
Yeah, man. Nice and restful. Started pre-season training though yesterday, so I'm a bit aching today. I'm getting old, like, you know, not getting any younger. So
bones is rattling.
Exactly.
E2J, how's your weekend been, bro?
Long, busy. Nothing that changed on a Sunday.
Okay. Well, boy, people's it's been working hard. So let's just run through the Twitter at Sunday Segue. Please follow us, the Segue SEGUE. Also, look on our blog, the sundaysegue.blogspot.co.uk. You can look at all our old episodes on YouTube. And also follow our Facebook page, just the Sunday Segue. Our email, sundaysegue@gmail.com. Also on Podomatic, and download that Double Twist player. Well, we've got a really, really good Raw coming up to speak to you guys about. So, but right now we're just going to go through the deadly dirt sheet. First news item, Matt Striker has been released from WWE. For me, it's been a shock because I didn't see that coming. Did you guys see that coming at all?
Nah, not at all. Maybe, but
yeah.
I don't know, because he was working hard with them and everything. I heard that he cried in an interview, saying that like WWE is his life. So I don't know. I thought he was holding his position all right, even though he did piss me off a bit sometimes. But no, I didn't expect to see him getting let go. So yeah, kind of a shock.
All right, next news. The WWE are concerned with Fandango. Now, Fandango, for you guys that don't know, Fandango is out with a concussion, and they're worried about him because even though he's passed the impact test, he couldn't pass the second test. Now, Fandango's had 3 concussions previous while he was down on NXT as Johnny Curtis, and they're really taking it, you know, real seriously. So I think he might be off for a while, guys. Shugs, what do you think about that? Fandango, a man out for a bit.
It's bad news for me because I think it was just, you know, he had that massive pop after WrestleMania, where everyone was doing the theme song, and then they pushed him and it died down, but then it looked like he was going to get the title at Payback, and now basically Curtis Axel's in his place, like, you know. I don't know what I mean, so it's a good move it's good for Curtis Axel, but I'm a bit disappointed really. But I suppose the main thing, like with Ziggler, is that he's healthy, especially if he's got a record of concussions.
Yeah, true. There's definitely 100%. Third news piece, which would be very interesting, is that Colt Cabana has received 2 WWE tryouts. Now, the first one was a wrestling tryout, but nothing's being said of that. Obviously his best mate CM Punk has got him in there. But now he's had a second tryout, but as a color commentator. Now, a lot of people don't know that when he was here as Scotty Goldman, he did some commentary down in FCW and stuff before he got released. So and apparently it looks like he passed with flying colours, so we might see Mr. Colt Cabana as a colour commentator on one of the shows. Hence, probably why Matt Striker may have been released to make way. But who knows? Who knows? Colt Cabana may be one of the voices for the new NXT. So we don't know. So yeah, might be seeing Colt Cabana, and that's the end of the Deadly Dirt Sheet. So guys, what we're gonna do? is we've got a packed show today. We're going to run through as quick as possible because, you know, people ain't got that time. You know, we got places to be. We got food to eat. Bellies rumbling and all that. So we're going to go through Payback review right now. So what I want to do is just go speak to the guys about, you know, their highlight of the night, their disappointment of the night, and their match of the night. And then we'll go through the predictions after. So, Shugs, what was your highlight of the night?
It was probably the Ziggler match. Although it didn't end the way I would want it to, it was just to see good to see Ziggler wrestling again. And it was just like a big surprise, like, you know, the way they did the double switch. I just thought it was like, you know, they did it really well. When they do something and it works well, it's always like, you know, good to keeps the fans going, and you always think like, thank God they did that, rather than like the convoluted shit they come up with most of the time that makes no sense. But like, it actually all made sense, and it was a good turn.
Okay, E2J, what was your highlight of the night?
Well, I wanted to give a bit of variation, but I thought by me saying that, what Shugs just said was going to do it, because I have to agree, like, we always get good matches with WWE and stuff, but it's quite rare that they actually go through with, like, a decent storyline or a decent, like, double turn like they did. So, I did enjoy that overall. I know that the match probably in-ring wasn't as good as some of the others. I'm not saying it was a bad match or anything. I just liked that they went with that double turn, because I was getting fed up with Del Rio being face. It just made sense to me, I think. I think it made sense. Obviously, hopefully Ziggler gets he doesn't need to necessarily be, like, super face, but I think he can definitely work with the fans behind him. Del Rio is, like, a great antagonist, so, yeah. It has to be that match as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, my highlight of the night was RVD. I didn't see that coming at all. And when I saw, you know, when I was watching the pay-per-view and I saw the video promo, I was like, wait, what? And I wanted to message you guys straight away, cause, you know, but I was just like, oh, Shugs hasn't seen it yet. I just didn't, you know, I couldn't really couldn't get the conversation going. So it was just like, I was just like having fun by myself, like, you know, RVD, you know, he's here. So, that's going to be an interesting one. So, E2J, what was your disappointment of the night?
Probably 3 Stages of Hell, Lumberjack being actually part of the match. That, like, I just didn't really have any, like, high hopes for, like, I knew there was going to be a big spot with the ambulance. I did kind of know that, like, there was going to be a big spot at the end, because we've had that, like, in all their matches, and that's kind of the build-up to that. I knew that the first falls were going to be, they're just going to be, like, kind of, like, one apiece and then get to, like, the next week. The usual, like, 3 Stages of Hell sort of thing. And, yeah, to be honest, like, even though it wasn't bad overall, I just think that it didn't help Ryback in any way. I don't think it helped Ryback in any way. I don't see what they were doing with that, and I think Ryback's, like, played his position. He's getting confident, like, with the promos, like I said before. Yeah, for me, it was just, I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it, but that was a bit of a disappointment.
That was your disappointment.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright, well, Shugs, what was yours?
Probably Kane against Ambrose was my disappointment. Whether it was probably as good as, if not a little bit better than the match on Raw, but I want to see Dean Ambrose looking better, you know, because we know he's a good wrestler, but unless he's involved in, like, more good matches, then he's not going to get the push he deserves. And I don't think the program with Kane is good enough. It's not showcasing his wrestling skills or showcasing his character. So hopefully he'll move on to feuding with someone else. If he's, I wouldn't mind him feuding with Christian. I think that'll be good.
That would be a good match.
Somebody his own size, somebody who's like a good wrestler as well. So if those two could have a feud for the US title, I think that would work really well.
Yeah, I have to agree with that one. Well, my disappointment of the night was Ziggler losing. Again, in the predictions I put for Ziggler to win, just purely because I didn't see him losing, and especially losing how he did, because he got one hell of a beating for guys that didn't watch it. This guy got his ass kicked, and they did it well because they were, you know, they wanted us to be sympathetic towards him in order for him to change to a face. But I think the reason why he lost is to have the chase. I really think that's what it is, to build him up even more with the chase. So we're just gonna have to see what happens up until SummerSlam, because I believe that's what we're gonna get. Ziggler chasing up until SummerSlam, and he's gonna regain it. He's gonna get it back, whether it's with the Money in the Bank briefcase or not. He's gonna get it back at SummerSlam, I think. And the match of the night. My match of the night was Punk versus Jericho. Simply because of the expectation of CM Punk coming back, and he wanted to put on a wrestling clinic, as they say, and him and Jericho did very well, and I really enjoyed the match. E2J, what was your match of the night?
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Jericho and Punk. It was weird. Like, I didn't even know if Punk was going to show up. I just didn't know what to think. I was like, right, I'm not even going to just assume anything. I'm just going to watch and see what happens. And these guys just, like, went at it. I mean, if you haven't watched Payback, watch Payback for that match, in-ring wrestling alone, man. I just enjoyed the match. I did. I was into it. I was fully sold on it. Okay. I even thought Jericho was going to take it at one point, man.
Okay. Actually, there was a near fall at one point where it was like, wow, he might win this. Shugs, what was your match of the night? And then can you go straight into the prediction results, please?
So I probably agree with you two guys as far as like in-ring wrestling goes, and like, these two guys work so well together. So, and like Ed said, it looked at one time when the Jericho hit the move off the top rope, Punk just got caught, and I thought, no way. And then obviously Paul Heyman almost cost him the match. So it was a really good match, but I think it was a close call between that and the Alberto Del Rio and Ziggler match. Just for sheer enjoyment and sheer like, oh my god, like that one made you feel bad watching it. Like,
yeah.
You're just like, oh shit, what's going on?
He's getting fucked up. Even though I knew it was kayfabe, it was hard to watch.
Yeah, it was still hard to watch. And as far as the WWE Payback predictions go, we only had one of the team who got all their predictions right, and that was Shugs, the Gallium Sugar. A clean sweep or a home run.
I'm not even going to get at you. Because you deserve it. You got 100%. There's been talks behind the scenes.
It was that Del Rio match. I told you, mate. I knew something was going to happen. I could feel it in my bones that something was going to happen in that match.
Well, a certain Sam Davey is shouting at you, mate, because he sent me a message saying that you rigged it because you put a red on him when you picked Ambrose to win, and he said you put a red on it. And he's saying that you messed it up, man. You messed it up.
He still called Jericho to win, and he said Christian was going to come out in the triple threat match. So he's way off.
Yeah. But no, well done. Okay, so that's the end of the Payback review. And right now we're going to go straight into Raw. So segment 1, Del Rio Punk promo. Del Rio comes out, and he completely switches from a face to a heel and goes on the fans. Okay, so Shugs, does the bait and switch face heel turn make sense to you?
Yeah, and I think that Del Rio did a good job of selling it. The angles always make the most sense when you ground them in reality, or the reasons they give for them are valid and not just some bullshit reason. And he said, like, what about when he got Money in the Bank cashed in on him? He was there, he could hardly stand up, and Ziggler cashed it in, and everyone cheered. So, like, fuck you guys, I'm going to look after myself. I'm looking after number one. And I knew Ziggler had a bad head, so me kick him in his head.
Standard. Okay, well, that was segment 1. Went through, like, real quick in terms of the delivery of Del Rio and then the delivery of Punk. But with Punk's delivery, I'm just going to go straight into segment 2 because it was Punk and Heyman backstage. So overall, Punk's delivery of promos has been really good. And now, with Heyman and Punk kind of split, E2J, were you surprised that they even paired CM Punk and Heyman together in the first place, citing that someone else could have got a rub off of Heyman, like what's happening with Curtis Axel? Could that have happened with someone else?
It could have, but then is anyone else... anyone at the time, was anyone else at the time going to sell as much as Punk were they going to be over as much as Punk? I don't think so. I think that Punk and Heyman worked. I think it's what a lot of the Attitude Era fans wanted to see. Heyman does his job all the time. Do you know what I mean? He's one of the best, I think, at doing that. He reminds me of like the Penguin from Batman. He's just a horrible little bastard, but he's smart upstairs. So I think him and Punk worked.
I mean, the only reason I say that is because they're two good talkers, and you know, sometimes if you already have a good talker, do you really need another good talker when that one good talker can then work with someone who can't necessarily talk that well? If you know what I mean?
I think you can, but it's also establishing, like, it got Paul Heyman, like, on the TV again, it established him, and also you got these two guys that can literally work off of each other, you've got, like, obviously a super, like, combination, like, these two that can actually, like, cut promos. So I think it did work initially. I think for them to be, like, together at the start, like, obviously we know what's happened now, but I think it just, them doing that at the beginning paves the way now. Oh, you've got Heyman, it's like a Heyman guy. They've established that, do you know what I mean? So now you can have all these other Heyman guys coming in and using him, and it kind of just, I think it builds up the whole Paul Heyman guy, and like the Paul Heyman being like your manager, that sort of thing. It makes more of a credible threat to a wrestler. It gives them an edge that they might not have had going it alone. So yeah, I do think I'm glad the way WWE did it. I can't really knock them with that.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go to segment 3, which was the returning Captain Charisma, Christian. Versus Wade Barrett. Now, Shugs, could his return been done a lot better?
I think they could have saved it for like SmackDown even, because there's so much happened on the show that I think it got lost in the shuffle, you know? So no one's going to remember this episode for Christian coming back. You know, if you came back on SmackDown or you came back next Monday on Raw, or something like that, maybe it's going to be more memorable, you know? So he got a big pop when he came out, but then as the show went on, no one was talking about it. You know, he came back, had his match with Wade Barrett, it was okay, and then, you know, the show went on. It went onwards and upwards from there.
E2J, why did Barrett get shit on? Again, you know, he's gone through a line of losses, and you know, when they could have used someone else, they could have used Cody Rhodes, they could have used, I don't know, they could have used guys that's down there not doing anything like JTG, and you know, but they use Barrett. Could they have used someone else?
They could have. My notes say, good to see Christian back, but what the fuck, poor Barrett. Yeah, I don't understand that. Like, I know he's a heel, and they want to give like a credible. If someone's returning, they want to give him a credible opponent, I suppose, or someone semi-decent to, like, at least be able to, like, oh yeah, he's not shit, he's not just, like, squashing someone. But, yeah, it's Barrett. Barrett's too good for this. Barrett shouldn't be taking those losses. The guy ain't just, like, a Zack Ryder or Heath Slater, do you know what I mean? This guy should be headlining main events, I believe, anyways, in my eyes. So, I mean, the match was okay, but yeah, just Barrett, what the hell's going on? I don't know why they're booking him like this. Like, he needs to be destroying people, and he needs to be like a badass.
It's another Cesaro moment. It's another Cesaro.
Yeah, it is. It almost seems like they don't want to make all these guys like this. But you got to think, if you build these guys up, and then these guys going out, like Barrett and Cesaro were going at it, you'd be having quality matches. And I think the psychology would be there as well, but I think you do harm the psychology when you put someone who's decent, like heel 1 minute, like IC champion 1 minute, and then he's just getting walked over. Like, it just don't make sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, and it's a shame. It's a shame. But I'm sure we're gonna have more, you know, to talk about in terms of Barrett, you know, in the next couple of weeks.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Let's go on to segment 4, which was the Rhodes Scholars versus Sheamus in a handicap match. And now, Shugs, your man Sandow getting the roll-up, getting the win. But with Sandow getting the win, will they make him win a one-on-one with Sheamus?
Well, you know, this is what I mean. In the Payback kickoff, it was a really good match for like a pre-show match, and they went back and forth, and it was like really hard hitting, like both of their wrestling styles are. But then it was just like, no matter how many close calls you got, you just couldn't see Sheamus, you know, going or taking one for Sandow. You know, I just can't see Sandow coming out on top of this feud unless they're looking to push him and move him from his like lower mid card to like upper mid card or even main event. They need to push him. They need to get that win over Sheamus to, you know, consolidate him as a star rather than just someone who does like these entertaining bits without the show and has good matches, you know. But I just can't see the WWE like putting Sandow over Sheamus.
Yeah, it's a shame though, isn't it? Because, you know, they've elevated Sheamus. Sheamus is right about now, you know, and I don't really want to say it, but he's untouchable. No matter whatever happens, the fans ain't gonna, you know, the fans ain't really. You know, he can come out and he'll get cheered. It doesn't matter what happens. He's being a heel right now and he's still getting cheered, you know, so he can do that. So I reckon they should give the rub to Sandow. So I understand what you're saying, because Sandow deserves it. They need to build him up now, like they did with Sheamus, and build him up until to that kind of Sheamus level. If it means Sheamus, you know, taking one for the team, then Sheamus take one for the team, fam. And again, you know, Shugs, what can I say? So Sandow wins, but Sheamus still does his bullying shit and turns around and boots Cody Rhodes in his chops.
I know,
it's
just
someone.
Yeah, it's just like they can't make Sheamus like take a clean. So he didn't take a clean loss. So he had to get his comeuppance. Somebody had to get it just to make Sheamus look good. So why not Cody Rhodes? You know.
I know they're gonna bust one of these jokes one time and make him bro kick the mustache off. I know they're gonna do something like that, you know. All right, let's go on to segment 5, and we're gonna have a little bit of discussion on this segment 5 because this segment 5 is the McMahon power struggle. Okay, so there was a number of segments through the show through the McMahon, so I'm not gonna go into each. So I thought I'd just bunch them up together. So, E2J and Shugs, where do you kind of see this going? So E2J first, yeah, where do you see this going?
First I got to say that I did kind of like it. Do you know what I mean? I know it's not obviously in-ring stuff, which is usually my focus, but when you do backstage stuff, you've got to do it right. I did like the power struggle between like the McMahons. I thought it took the edge off of, like, it broke it up, it broke the show up. As for where it's going, I don't know, man. Like I said, like Triple H versus Vince, maybe. I don't know. There's got to be something bigger down the line, but then it's WWE, so there could be nothing at all could come out of this, or something could come out of it. You just got to wait and see. For me, that's what I've got to do anyway. It's like I don't want to jump to conclusions or anything. I think there's going to be a bit more tension down the line. Triple H may even get, like, do you know what I mean? Him and Vince, like, they'll go at it probably, and then I think Vince will probably say, like, here you are, pass the torch or something. But I don't know. We'll see. Because obviously Steph's involved as well, so.
Okay, well, over to you, Shugs. I mean, like, I know that, you know, this may happen, like E2J said at SummerSlam, you don't know, but would you be interested, you know, in a payoff like that with Vince versus McMahon, you know, Vince versus, Triple H, with the payoff being that Triple H takes over?
Yeah, I can't see Vince wrestling himself, but maybe he'll have someone wrestle on his behalf.
Shane O'Mac.
Yeah, so, well, hopefully it'll be Shane O'Mac, but that's too much. I think that's too much to ask for. So whether he puts forward, like, the Shield, or whether it's like Curtis Axel or something and Vince McMahon's like behind him all along, I think there's going to be some type of switch. And then it depends what Stephanie does then, whether she's siding with Triple H or siding with Vince, or whether she's also trying to get control. That's the thing, whether it's a three-way power struggle or whether it's just really a two-way between Vince and Triple H. But I think like you said, like come SummerSlam, I think Triple H will probably be wrestling, and then it's whether who Vince chooses to wrestle in this place and whether Stephanie's with him or whether she's putting someone in as well, like a triple threat or something like that.
Like they did back in the day with the four-cornered McMahon in each corner.
Yeah, McMahon.
McMahon in each corner. Linda McMahon Raw come out. I was like, what? Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to segment 6, which is Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton. Now, what I'm going to say with this, okay, is that WWE at the moment, a lot of people may not know, but the storylines that are happening at the moment are based on real life stuff that's actually going on. So the Stephanie McMahon stuff as well, which I'll go into later, and particularly this match is all real life stuff. So let's just get into it. First, Shugs, what did you think of the match?
I think it was just like strange, like, you know, just to watch, like, because they didn't really wrestle much before Bryan was injured, and then it sort of just went a bit surreal then. You know, you could see the communication go, and you could see him talking, and like, Orton was like, "What the fuck's going on?" And they had to bleep him out. And then the ref threw up an X, you know. So like the ref puts up an X, so you know someone's fucked. And he's like holding Daniel Bryan's hand, and Daniel Bryan's on the mat, because normally obviously they go over, they give the ref's hands a little squeeze just to say they're all right or whatever. And he was just doing nothing. Like Daniel Bryan was doing nothing, and he looked fucked. But, you know, like they say, like, you know, they try and wrestle on. That's how they condition these guys. They're like tough guys, and they're trying to wrestle on. So, you know, I just think it was just surreal to see the way it went, and to see that Daniel Bryan was trying to carry on wrestling, and people were trying to stop him wrestling. You know, and obviously it's a scripted show, so the area between reality and fiction is like, it's like a fine line, really. But yeah, I think he was fucked. You know, because I don't think you could put that on. But then, you know, good job he's in there with Randy Orton to still just kick him up. Somebody else might have just let him recover, but Randy Orton just like kicked him in the nuts, threw him on the barrier, and then when he's finished, he just tapped him on the head and was like, "Yeah, I hope you're alright, mate."
Yeah, typical Randy Orton. This is a legit injury. This is a legit injury. He had a stinger, and you know, he couldn't, he lost all mobility for a couple minutes. And now this led to an actual backstage altercation between Triple H and Bryan, which people thought was kayfabe, because Triple H came out on WWE.com saying, yeah, they had an altercation, we apologize to each other, blah, blah, blah. But this is actually real. And what's happened is, after this, Daniel Bryan wanted to continue. Daniel Bryan's gone back to gorilla position. And he's shouted at Triple H for stopping the match. Now, Daniel Bryan's known for backstage not really talking up, really. You know, he's always a good guy. He doesn't really say anything bad, but he had, you know, he was really, really upset about this, about stopping the match. He had had it out with Triple H, told him what he meant, told him what he said, told him about his blood clot, and then, you know, they had to apologize at the end. Triple H said, basically, we got big plans for you in the summer. We don't want you injured. Simple as that. So man called it audible, cut the match, done. So, E2J, what do you think about that?
They're protecting him exactly that. Like, you can't argue with it. Obviously, Bryan was, like, in the heat of passion, probably just on one from constantly having matches like this every night. It comes to Raw. You know, he's going, like, 100 miles per hour, just, like... Then this happens, and... I don't know, you could argue that Bryan he was probably thinking, oh, fucking hell, now I'm going to lose my top spot, or I'm going to lose my momentum, so he wanted to keep going. He could have been thinking that. He could have been thinking anything. Do you know what I mean? But you've got to go with Triple H on this one. You've got to protect him. I mean, as soon as I seen the referee put the X up, I thought, oh, this is actually, like, legit. Because the dive out of the ring looked nasty. Like, he's only a small guy, but he gets height and he goes far and he's fast. So, but you got to protect your talent, especially Daniel Bryan, man. I'd hate something to happen to him now where it ruins his chances of becoming, like, the next CM Punk. Because, like, I think in ring ability, I think he'd give CM Punk a run for his money any day of the week. I just think he just needs to be built up to that
that level.
That level. That, do you know what I mean? I mean, people that don't even know wrestling now know CM Punk now. Do you know what I mean? So just because he's been in that main spot, do you know what I mean? He's fought for that. I think if Daniel Bryan is in the top spot, people are going to start knowing him. I mean, people are going on about goat face and the beard and everything already. So I think you got to protect your talent. That's the most important, because, like, we're talking about Ziggler, but then you got Fandango now. You got so many people. It's more common than not for talent to get injured, and I mean, no one wants to see some good storyline get, like, cut or thrown out over an injury. So, well, exactly. forget that. No one wants to see anyone get injured or, like, permanently injured in the ring, because, like, we were talking about Edge, like, a couple of shows ago. It's a serious thing. Do you know what I mean? So you got to think about your talent. You got to protect them. I'm with Triple H on this one.
There you go, I agree. Okay, well, let's go on to segment 7, which was the AJ, Steph, Kaitlyn angle. Shugs, what did you think about this angle? Because it was different from any, Diva angle before. So what was...
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought like the best person in the whole thing was AJ. You know, I think she is just looks comfortable all the time. You know, when she's on the mic, when she's doing the different spots, she looks comfortable. And then I just don't know what purpose is served having Stephanie McMahon in there. It's like she came out and just like squashed everyone. You know, she had to go at AJ in the ring when she's doing this stupid whispering thing and you can't hear what she's saying because the mic's like 10 million miles from her mouth. And then she went up and she like dissed all the other divas on the way back out of the ring. You know, so why did she need to be there, you know?
Okay, well, one answer to the part of that question is the reason why this is, again, what I was talking about the real life storylines. Now, when she went up back to the ramp, she said to Kaitlyn, "Don't you ever interrupt me again." Now, a lot of people might not know, but a couple weeks ago, Steph was talking to someone very important backstage, and Kaitlyn decided to come up to her and interrupt her talking to this person, talking about something that was very irrelevant. You know, it could have been something that could have been talked about at another point, another time, and Steph decided to take the piss and say that to her, and lo and behold, Kaitlyn loses her title a couple weeks later, and, you know, gets cussed live on TV. So, you know, a lot of stuff that's happening at the moment is because of real life situations that is going on. So they're bringing a lot of realism into these storylines. So, with that, obviously Steph, you know, she's out there, you know, doing her thing, you know, maybe not good, but she's doing her thing. Can you see Steph, Shugs, like rejuvenating the diva division in terms of her being like a hierarchy, being like the GM of the divas, or like she's looking out for the divas or whatever? With her being on, you know, on that pedestal, could she kind of rejuvenate something and then be the person to say, okay, I've got these divas down here, I'm going to bring them up. I've got these divas here, I'm going to bring them up, kind of thing.
You know, she could have, if she could be doing that anyway. She doesn't need to be on TV to do that. But if they want to bring her in as like a TV link between the divas and somebody who takes charge of them, then that can only be good for like the divas division. Like we didn't really talk about the match at Payback, but I thought the match at Payback between Kaitlyn and AJ was good, and you could see that they were influenced by the match in TNA from like a few weeks ago, because the first spot, like Kaitlyn just got AJ and just dashed her across the table. You know, and then they were, you know, they were doing some like hard hitting moves and stuff. So, and they had some actual time. You know, the match was almost like 10 minutes long. So I think anything that can give the divas more time and give them more actual wrestling and storylines will be good for the division. You know, if it's Stephanie McMahon, then so may it be.
Yep. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna give a shout out to the hashtag nip slip. Okay, people that didn't see it, there was a hashtag nip slip up in there, and big wardrobe malfunction. So, you know, do what you want with that information. All right, so let's go on to segment 8, which was Kane versus Ambrose. I'm going to keep this short and sweet because we have other things we want to talk about. But was there any point, E2J, of this match again?
I think what they were thinking is, look, we've got to get Ambrose on TV. We can't leave him off, do you know what I mean? But I think in the long run, I think they should have left Christian to Smackdown, where he did a lot of his best work anyway when he was world champ. They could have saved that and then just put this match in there. But overall, I mean, this match was just short and sweet anyways. King obviously wins by DQ. Saw it coming. You knew, I just had a feeling it was going to happen, so I think they could have left it. They could have left it, but I think it would have worked better if they would have given it a bit more time and then save Christian for like SmackDown or something. Because obviously the stuff that's going on SmackDown at the moment is like, I need to start checking it more. Obviously I don't want to put down Raw. This Raw I thought was one of the best in a long time, but I can't really knock it. To be honest, maybe a little bit of reshuffling, but I mean, what do I know?
Well, okay, well, let's just go straight on to segment 9 then, which was Cesaro versus William Regal. Shugs, how do you feel about the Cesaro Uncle Zebediah alliance?
Yeah, I still don't think they've done a good enough job in their explanation of it, you know, the reason for it. Because obviously he's had this thing with, obviously, Del Rio, and then he's trying to say that Cesaro's more intelligent and he's gone about going to America in the right way and stuff like that. But I still think it feels forced You know, it doesn't feel like natural. Hopefully it'll be a good for Cesaro, but then like I just don't think they put enough time into doing it. They just like, you know, he came and watched the Cesaro match last week, and then a week later they're together, you know, and no real explanation.
So a bit late as well, isn't it? Because he ain't even US champ now.
Exactly. So, you know, it's just, I can't see the reason behind it really, apart from Swagger's out and Cesaro's getting, you know, a bit of a re-push.
Well, boy, it's one of those things where, you know, for me personally, I just feel that Cesaro needs to kind of do this by himself. Try and figure it out by himself. He doesn't necessarily, and especially when it's like it's a bit of a hypocritical situation. Like, we're not dumb, man. How are you going to try and put Zeb Coulter together with a man that's not American? That just don't make any sense whatsoever. Right, let's go on to the segment. Okay? Segment 10. Mark Henry... Mark Henry, John Cena angle. Now, let me just start by just saying this, okay? This is, by far, right, the best angle swerve of all time, and I don't care what anyone is trying to tell me. This is one of... The guy had a swerve in the media months ago. I'm talking months ago, this guy swerved us. And it's culminated into this Raw. Shugs, what can you say about this, man? What can you say?
Mate, all I can say is I was hooked, like, you know? I was hooked, yeah, and he had me done. You know, man felt a little, you know, my eyes, like I had something in my eye. But it was just so good. It was just like, where did Mark Henry get this? I know he's talking about, and he's saying about he might retire and he's going to go into acting. Well, you know, if that's how he can act, then, you know, he'll have plenty of jobs lined up when he actually does finish. But, you know, just the whole way that the angle came across, and when they saw him and he was talking to the primetime players in the back,
yeah,
and Mr. No Days Off, Darren Young starts, you know, like bawling out the back, and he's just like, has to give him a hug. Tamina Snuka's there and everyone else, and then he comes out and he's all smiling. You know, it was just so good. It was so good.
ETJ, man, what about the lines? What about the lines? You think it's that easy? I got a lot left in the tank.
You think it's that easy? I got a lot left in the tank.
I was like, really? Dude, listen, this guy, right? You know what? I'm just lost for words. E2J, man, run your thing, man. What do you think, man? I don't even know what to say.
If you're a fan of wrestling, you ain't seen this match, watch it. I was praying for that World's Strongest Slam at the end because I thought it wasn't coming. I thought this was legit. I thought, no way. This is it. Like, he's had a bit of, like, maybe a falling out, or not a falling out backstage, but you know what I mean? Like, what we've been reading in the dirt sheets lately. I thought, oh, no, he's missed his spot. Goes, oh, mate, when it happened, I was just like, yeah, man. It was just, I can't describe it, man. I just marked out because I was just like, after that promo, it was heartfelt, do you know what I mean? He suckered everyone in. You heard the crowd's reaction, man. It's just too good, and it's probably the biggest angle in WWE. They pulled off well. I think it just brought the whole show together, man. I think it just made everything much better. Like, it was deep, because Cena got in and was like, oh, here you are, hold the title. And they went back out, and there's like, well, he's standing on the apron, so when's Cena going to come in to get squashed? And it was just, they saved it for the right moment, man, because I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought, oh, nah, man, Henry's gone, man, he's legit doing this. And then, oh, man, they turned it around. I was just marking.
I just didn't know what to think, because the last time this happened, you know, with Edge, and I was like, nah, he can't be retiring. He can't be. And then he retired. So this time I was like, you know what? The guy must be retiring. And then I saw the tears. And then I was like, nah, this is cold. Like, this is cold. Man is actually retiring. I felt sorry. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, come on, man. For weeks we've been shouting how much we love Mark Henry, and he's here retiring, you know, with his crisp pink jacket, you know. And then all of a sudden, he switches, and I'm marking out like crazy. I'm standing up, I'm jumping around. I'm like, this guy is an absolute beast. Oh, Lord. And then he goes in the back. You know, I'm thinking, hold up, Renee Young, someone's about to get their ass kicked. Like, but, you know, he comes out. He comes out. He says what he's got to say. 2 boots, 1 left in his rear end. Simple as. Shugs, he has to have the strap. He has to, doesn't he?
But then, this is the thing, like, I think this is it. This is our Mark Henry title moment, you know? this is what we'll have to remember, rather than us remembering the time he won the WWE Championship. I think this is our...
I hope you're so wrong.
This is our Mark Henry moment, you know? This is it. Like, when he won the World Heavyweight title, I never expected him to, like, pin Randy Orton clean, you know? And he did, and he had a good run as World Heavyweight Champion. But I can't see Cena losing the belt. That's what it is. At the moment, Cena didn't win, and he didn't have the belt for the whole of last year. So then I can't see him losing at SummerSlam or Extreme Rules. I just can't see him losing. At all.
Please, man, don't bust the dream, blood. Don't bust the dream. Well, I don't even know what else to say, man. Mark Henry, you're a G. You deserve an Oscar for that, fam. You know, you had me going, you had Sugs going, you had E2J going, you had the whole internet wrestling crowd going. You know, so props to you, man. And we hope to see you on Raw tomorrow, doing your thing, busting up people, shouting in the camera. Okay, well, so let's go on to segment 11. Quick time, because this is a filler match for me. Jericho versus Slater. What's next for Jericho, E2J? Anything? Is it Fozzy? Is it, you know, what is it?
Next for Jericho is the same thing that's been going on for a while. I think it's going to be like, it'd just be Fozzy wrestling, it'd just be a schedule, wouldn't it? You just need to look in his little diary and see what he's got booked up. That's the only way you can do it. I mean, when he's in the ring, he delivers. And he's getting, like, obviously mad fans from the music and stuff, the rock star that he was doing. So, I mean, JBL was putting him over, like, this guy's a legit rock star. So, you don't know. Jericho's always going to be a solid guy in ring. I think he's going to be one of those guys that's always got it. Do you know what I mean? But as for where he goes next, I don't know. I think it was just a solid match for CM Punk to come back to. We just have to wait and see on it.
Yeah, we just have to wait and see. And also, just quickly, Ultimate Jobbers, 3 megabytes. Each one of them took a code breaker. What can I say? 3 against 1 and you're all lost. Standard. Segment 12, Curtis Axel, the new Intercontinental Champion, versus Sin Cara. WWE, why do we have the light in?
Oh, I was going to say this. Fuck.
Sin Cara's not even a main event or anything, but yet he gets, you know, positioned because he's got the lighting. What's that all about? Shugs, now Curtis is the champ, you know, what does he need to do, you know, to make him more believable as a champ?
I think they just need to put him in, you know, a decent program, something to make the belt, you know, more worthwhile. So it's got a bit of status on it, you know, because obviously Wade Barrett had it and he was jobbing off all the time, you know, he was losing to everyone when he was Intercontinental Champion. So they've just got to keep Axel strong and not put him in or not have him job out to people when he's the IC champ. So if he's going to feud with The Miz, while it looks like he is going to, you know, he needs to be getting over. You know, he needs to be winning his matches and, you know, making The Miz lose his matches and stuff like that. And it just needs to be put into the good parts of the show, not just for filler like this match was.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, let's go on to segment 13, which is the last segment of Raw, which is Punk versus Del Rio. E2J, how important, was the Ziggler run-in in terms of the feud and the face turn?
I think everyone that was involved in this final match, I think it was vital for all of them, apart from Ziggler running off and slipping on his ass at the end. I think you built up, like, there's something for everyone, like, in this angle. Like I said, like, you got Del Rio as heel, it works, but he's got valid points for why he turned again. Do you know what I mean? So you can't say, oh yeah, he's just like a dirty heel now. It's like he tried to go for the people. Do you know what I mean? And then they didn't want none of it. So he's back to good old heel Del Rio. I think that works. I think, like we were saying, like, Ziggler needs to be like the next HBK because in-ring ability, I think he's got it. I think he can do that. Maybe as a face run, he can do that. We'll see if it works. I think him and Del Rio would be a good feud, rather as opposed to like the triple threat that was going to originally happen. As for Punk, boy, I don't even know whether this is. I mean, it's been speculated for a little while because of the whole Heyman guy thing. It just worked. Everything just worked. I don't know. Obviously, The Rock's doing Hercules, so he ain't going to be there. Whether he'll actually get the match with Lesnar down the line, I don't know. That could be it now, but, I mean, Punk's there, stepped up. How fast did Lesnar get that F5? I didn't even...
Oh, I was going to say that, man. Like, he's sick. He's actually sick. He went to talk. I'm thinking to myself, Brock, come on, listen to the Sunday Segue. We've told you for weeks. You better not talk on that mic. You better not talk on that mic.
Yeah.
And he took the advice, man. He was going close, and he just picked him up real quick, just bam. That's how quick he can do that. Shugs, did you see Brock Lesnar coming? Did you see that coming? And does this now interest you for SummerSlam?
Nah, I didn't think he was gonna start feuding with him. Obviously, the Rock side of the picture, so maybe Punk is a good replacement, and maybe it's gonna build up to a match at SummerSlam. But yeah, I didn't see these two feuding together at all. But obviously, I still think this is something where Brock needs to go over on CM Punk, because if they're trying to build him as this monster here, maybe they can have a match at Extreme Rules and he'll go over, and then Punk can win it back at SummerSlam, you know. But obviously, Punk needs to get some beatdowns off Brock Lesnar to make him look legitimate, because that's what he hasn't been, you know. He's like 2-1 since he come back. Obviously, he lost to Cena. He lost 1 to Triple H. Has he lost 2? And 1-1. Yeah,
lost 2
and 1-1, you know, so he's not doing well since he come back. So I think a win over Punk will help both of them, really, because it can push Punk then to get the rematch at SummerSlam, and it'll be something to keep him occupied in that time, because otherwise Punk is not really involved with anyone at the moment. He's not chasing any titles. You know, when he fought Del Rio, it was because Del Rio said he was the best, and Punk's like, no, I'm the best. So that's it.
Well, apparently, they're gonna stretch this out until SummerSlam, so I don't think he's gonna be wrestling at Money in the Bank, and if he does, I reckon it might be him clawing his way at Heyman, guys, which may be him versus Curtis Axel or RVD maybe, but I don't know. But, you know, only time will tell. Guys, this is the end of Raw, but is there anything else you want to talk about, about Raw, quickly?
It delivered. I thought it delivered. I don't know if it was just the Mark Henry thing, but yeah, I watched this like 3 times. I've got it downloaded, and that's going in the archive so that I can pull that out in the future and be like, yeah, look, this is when Mark Henry pulled off the biggest turnaround, the biggest angle ever. Because that's what it was, man. He just fucking did it. He just delivered, and yeah, I went home happy with this, so that's that.
Okay. Shugs, anything else?
Nah, like I said, I'm going to remember it for that Mark Henry segment. It's just like one of the best segments I can remember since watching Raw. He just had me hook, line, and sinker.
Okay. All right. Well, Shugs, can I get your Raw? Let me start again. Shugs, can I get your Raw rating, please?
All right. So I'm going to give it an 8.5.
8.5. Nice. E2J, Raw rating, please?
Yeah, 2 8.5s.
2 8.5s. God damn it. We have there, people. You heard it first here on the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast. Now let's go into Smackdown in 60 seconds. Roll with it, Shugs.
Okay, so Smackdown in 60 seconds. Daniel Bryan out, calls out Orton, says he's going to compete no matter what. Orton tries to squash the beef, but Bryan's having none of it, and then Orton says he's going to hurt him. Sheamus beat Cody. Bad news for Cody. The Scholars drew short straws, and Cody got the short straw. So Rhodes gets plenty of offense and loses to the Cloverleaf, taps out. And then Sandow gives Sheamus a beatdown from behind. Yes. Axel v Barrett. Miz on commentary. Yawn. This guy is such a beg. JBL is ripping Miz on the commentary. Heyman is like a great coach, speaking to Axel all the time, and then the Miz challenges to Axel in the ring. AJ versus Natalya, Black Widow, AJ wins, and then in the back there's a massive cat fight or brawl with Kaitlyn and Oksana and all the divas slipping around in some water in their heels. Jericho versus Del Rio, really good match. Walls of Jericho on ADR and Ricardo, and then Ziggler comes in again, unloading on Del Rio. But then he gets a code breaker from Jericho, and then Del Rio comes back in and gives him a kick to the head. McIntyre versus Captain Charisma. Some actual offense by Drew McIntyre. Christian wins, but then he gets triple powerbomb by the Shield. Heyman rips on Renee Young for actually having the cheek to ask him questions backstage. Orton vs Bryan main event. Great match again. Daniel Bryan wins by count out, but he's not happy. He tries to restart the match. The ref says no, and restarts off a yes chant to get the match restarted. Fade to black.
Fade to black. Okay. Well, guys, the next best segment, aligned with Mark Henry, and it is Sugs Stunners.
Okay, so the jobber of the week this week, it's pretty difficult, but it's gonna have to be Cody Rhodes again. Sorry for Cody. It's a bit of a disappointment, really. They had the 2-on-1 match, and his team won, but then he had to get the brogue kick, and then he had a match with Sheamus, and he had to tap out to the cloverleaf. So jobber of the week, Cody Rhodes. Move of the week is World's Strongest Slam on Cena, to go in from the hug to the World's Strongest Slam and then just get brought down. Was just so good. It's one of my favorite World's Strongest Slam of anyone. Anyone who can pull off a salmon pink blazer deserves an award. And then obviously the rest of the week has to be Mark Henry. He wasn't in a competitive match, but he was the best thing in wrestling this week on any show. That angle, that segment was just one for one for the ages.
Yeah, I have to second that. One for the ages indeed. Well, guys, I gotta say thanks as always. We had a really, really good show today. We were all kind of hyped, all kind of gassed, waiting to talk about Mark Henry. We've done it.
I've been waiting 7 days for that shit.
I know all day, all week we're probably going to still be talking about this until next week. And I know I'm going to get a little bit of, goading from Sugs because the Beat the Clock challenge is coming soon. It's coming real soon. And he's going to try and get one over on us.
It's going to be a Rocky montage. But instead of people running in the snow doing press-ups, it's just me looking on the internet and writing stuff down in a pad.
Well, you
need to make that now.
Please, I need to see that. I'll put it on the YouTube video.
Do your homework.
Well, I have to say thanks to the hashtag tech guy, the goddamn Sugar Shugs.
Yo, it's been a pleasure.
And obviously, don't you ever forget the human highlight reel himself, Mr. E2J.
Pleasure as always.
Next week, guys, we should have, the debatable number one fan, Mr. Sam Davey, on the show. It'll be good to have one of the fans on the show. It'll be great to do that. So we're going to give him a shot. We're going to give him a shot at the gold. And yeah, this week, in the words of, comes by Sid Justice at WrestleMania 8. So, in the words of Sid Justice at WrestleMania 8, shut up, you fat, bull-headed little loaf. I curse you. Because I am the man who rules the world. Choke on that, slap nut.
Yeah.
Peace out, homies.
Yeah, peace out.